Welcome back to Arise News Hour. I'm Charles Anyegolu. Now, the film In a Strange Land is an African story told against the background of an all too common conflict between traditions from Nigeria and the UK. Set in London and Nigeria, the film focuses on people trafficking and depicts a young woman from Nigeria who's abused and exploited as a domestic slave by a family. The movie is unique because it portrays the experiences of trafficking victims from recruitment to rescue. Critics say it represents a coming of age for the Nollywood film industry, which is beginning to deal with uncomfortable international issues. In a Strange Land premieres in London today. Well, earlier I spoke to the producer of In a Strange Land, Roseline Ajose, and I started by asking her where the inspiration for the film came from.
It's basically a young lady approached me after she watched my last project. She said, I feel like killing somebody. So and I thought, no, you're not going to kill anyone. What's the matter? And then she sat me down and narrated our whole life story, how she was brought to the UK by a trafficker, and they decided to imprison her indoor. And then when you're talking about imprisoning her indoor, it's torturing, you know, abusing her, with all sorts of things. So she decided to say, okay, I want the whole world to know, to hear about my story.
Right, so she approached you to tell that story.
Yes. Yes.
How long was she held as a domestic slave?
About 8 years. Yeah, it's about 8 years.
In the UK
In the
here?
UK here.
And was she in the UK legally or illegally?
You know how the African do it. They'll bring you here that you're coming on a 6-month holiday, and then you never set your eyes back to Africa again. They just scam the government. I don't know how they get through immigration, I'm sorry to say. She was brought here on a 6-month visa, and then she ended up staying here for about 8 years until she decided to do justice to herself.
Right. I mean, you spent quite a bit of time sourcing funds and trying to you got the University of Portsmouth involved and all that sort of thing. Yeah. What was it about this that inspired you to work so hard to see this movie from script to screen?
I think basically it's just the story of the lady was so intriguing, it was so sad, that because I myself, I didn't even know modern day slavery still exists in the UK. Because you talk about Nigeria, people have domestic staff, they treat them like they're a piece of, not a human being. But I didn't know that in United Kingdom, somebody could have that huge audacity to imprison somebody indoor. So that was what really got me into it, to say, don't worry, we're going to put your story out there and let everybody know that modern day slavery is still existing in the UK, and we need to be on the lookout.
And what sort of cultural challenges did you face making this movie? Because as you correctly identified, this happens a lot in Nigeria and in many African countries, and most people don't think of it twice.
Like in Nigeria, they think is a norm, but I think is not the norm. It's not the normal things to do in Nigeria, to have somebody living with you. You can't feed them properly. You have your driver driving you. Your life is in their hands.
Certainly people need to be educated.
Yeah, just to educate them, to say, listen, guys, you can have a maid, you can have somebody, you know, serving you as a male servant or female servant. Please treat them like human beings. You're leaving your children with them 24/7. You know, they cook your dinner. You don't know what they put in your dinner.
I mean, you said she sounded really down when she came to see you. I mean, does she feel that her life has been wasted as a result of spending all this time as a domestic slave? Yeah,
she felt like her youthfulness has been taken away from her because she was brought in here where she was in her prime age, at the age of 12, 15. So she felt like, well, the woman didn't allow me to go to school. I wasn't allowed out of the house. You know, she has this traumatized thing in her head that she feels like she wants to lash out at somebody.
I mean, to a large extent, this is a groundbreaking movie in the sense that Nollywood is not necessarily noted for taking on big international issues like this, is it?
Yeah. We're so much into the my mother-in-law who didn't want me to marry to this one, like cultural clash. But with this film, is about issue that is relevant in our community today. It's an issue that the Home Office, they're really on it. Theresa May, today's the election, as you know, so we hope we get, anyway, don't want to go into election now.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one thing to put this out in the UK. What about Nigeria? How do you think they'll receive it there?
A lot of people from the Middle East, they've been, you know, inboxing me, and some of our team members that, why is it your business?
From the Middle East?
From the Middle East.
I've been sending you messages. That
why do you decide to raise awareness? These people want a better life, so we're giving them the better life. Why are you saying, you know, using your movie to go against what they want? But the fact is, it's not what they want. They want a better life, a greener pasture. But because they know they're coming from a poor background, they take that into consideration to start, you know, abusing them.
Roseline Sani, Ajose there, the producer of that movie In a Strange Land, which premieres in the UK today.